the City of Cherryville's regular City Council meeting of Monday, February the 12th, 2024. I would like everyone to please stand for our invocation by Mr. Tom Witherspoon of Shady Grove Baptist Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Lord, I come before you today to stand before you in the presence of giving you thanks for who you are and what you do. It's in you we trust. And Lord, because of that, we come and we pray and we seek you. And I pray for this council meeting tonight, every leader, everyone involved, and everyone who has to share. As your Proverbs teaches and tells us in Proverbs 11, it is by the blessings of the upright the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Who is devoid of wisdom, despises a neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. And the promise that you give us, where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So we claim that tonight, Lord, that you'll be with the counselors, be with each one in each position, as they share the business at hand you've allowed them to have. And we pray this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. The first item on our agenda tonight will be the agenda approval. What is the direction of the council on approving the agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and there is none. Next item is approval of our minutes of A, City Council regular meeting of January the 8th, 2024, and B, our City Council regular meeting of, that would be our work session meeting of January the 30th, 2024. What is the decision of the council on approval of the minutes as presented?
I move that we approve the minutes of the January 8th regular meeting as presented. And on the work session minutes, I would say that we need to correct the name from Mark Mooney to Matt Mooney as the one not being present at that meeting, and approve them with that correction for January 3rd.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the minutes with the amendment as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the approval of the minutes as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, the same, and there is none. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the mayor's comments. To begin with, I want to congratulate city employee Brian Williams for his promotion as our new water plant superintendent. Brian has been employed at our water plant for over 10 years and has been certified as an operator in responsible charge. Good luck to Brian in this new role with our city. Ray Cathy, the architect/engineer for the new gym, is working with Gaston County on the permits to start construction on our new gym. The wheels of progress sometimes move slower than what we want, but we must have patience. Recreation Director Lance Hudson has informed the city that major work has been completed on the middle school baseball field. Now, this is the old senior Little League field, and these renovations are certainly making this field a showcase for our city. Mr. Hudson also informed the city that the basketball court at Aaron Moss Field has been cleaned and will soon have a new paint job on the playing area. Mr. Robin Holler has started preparations for our new splash pad located at the city pool. The project should be completed by the end of March. Mr. Holler also told the city manager and I last week that Cherryville will have the best splash pad in the state of North Carolina. The development off Freeway Road is moving forward, and they have started putting in some sewer lines. Public Works Director Chris King treated City Manager Dalton and I to an on-site visit of this property. We have been told by the developers that some housing will be completed as early as October of this year. Their plans are to construct 8 houses per month until all construction is complete. City Manager Dalton has informed the city that the playground equipment for the new gym site has arrived and will be stored until the site is ready for installing this equipment. Much needed repair work at our local police station has been completed by Heath Jackson Plumbing, and this should fix a long overdue repair that has plagued this facility for many, many years. This now concludes the mayor's comments. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, and I see Councilman Hovis is with us now.
Sorry,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
This is our citizens to be heard. That any citizen that would like to speak may do so by coming to the podium, stating your name and address before you speak. Comments will be held strictly to 3 minutes per person. And I know you all saw the sign on the door to please sign up if you wanted to speak under citizens to be heard. We do have one person that did sign up, and Mr. Robert Walls is here, so if you would come to the podium, Mr. Walls, state your name and address, and you have the podium for now.
My name is Robert Walls. I live at 207 South Dixie Street. Mayor, thank you. Council, city manager, thank you for letting me speak. Just wanted to open up with a few things. And first, I wanted to say thank you to your electrical department. Had an issue last week with some things at home we just purchased a couple months ago. Those guys came out, they took care of it, very professional, and you have a good staff on hand dealing with that. The next week had an issue with some sewer issues out at the house, so your sewer water department came out, and those guys are top notch as well, very respectful, come out and address some problems and said they're gonna look into some things. So I just wanted you to know that those employees that y'all have are going above and beyond on their job, and they're representing you all well. And lastly, I'd just like to say a quick prayer for the Chief of Police, Chief Hunsucker. I know it's a tough time right now that this community's going through in his department, but I just want him to know that us as a citizen, now that I'm a citizen of Cherryville, we all support them and support everything that they do. And I just ask the town to really pull around them and really support those people, because those officers are going to have to live with those decisions the rest of their life. So I'd just like to say thank you and God bless, and thank y'all for letting me speak.
Okay, Mr. Walls, would you tell us what your title is?
Yes, sir. So I'm the Chief of Police in Dallas, North Carolina. So I'm
Okay.
a Cherryville resident now.
And he lives in Cherryville, so that's great. I met you at the one of the third Thursdays or something uptown, you and your
Yes, sir.
wife.
So tree lighting, we showed up for the little tree lighting ceremony.
Okay.
So that's where I got to meet
All right,
you.
we're glad to have you as
We're happy
citizens of
to be here.
Cherryville.
Thank y'all.
And thank you for your comments. Okay, the next item is a special recognition, and at this time, I'm gonna ask the Mr. Powell on my right, if he would come forward, and your any family member you wish also. And the reason I said Mr. Powell on my right, we have Michael Powell on the left also. Yeah, okay. And this is to recognize Michael for the work he has done with our local paper, the Cherryville Eagle. He's been with it quite a bit of time, 2007. So this certificate is awarded to Michael Powell in recognition of 17 years of service to the city of Cherryville. It's signed by our city manager, Brian Dalton, and Mayor H.L. We'll move on to our next item on the agenda. Item 9 is the presentation of the Cherryville Chamber of Commerce end of year report. And we're so happy to have Chairman Pete Kraft with us. And if you go to page 20 in your agenda packets.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. City Manager, and guest, I'm Pete Kraft. It's been my pleasure and privilege to serve as the chairman of our board of directors for the Cherryville Chamber of Commerce now for over 10 years. And just a quick year in review, we usually come a couple times a year at your request to give some items that's going on with our chamber. And to start off, our ribbon cuttings for 2023, we had 7 ribbon cuttings for the year. Scooter's Coffee, Shamrock Sports Station, the Wild Chala, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right or not.
Neither do I.
Is it Chola? The Wild Chola. Okay, so there we go. On the record. The Fuzzy Cow, Felicia Bowman Photography, Pete's Fish Box, and 31 South Real Estate. And on each of these events, we had a very nice turnout of from council, from city representatives, from chamber board members, and then family members of those that were opening business. So it was a very good turnout for those, and the folks were pleased that we would come out and done that for them. And of course, we're there to serve them in whatever way that we can, whether they be a Main Street business or another street business. They're still as important to us. Dedications and business after hours, McGinnis Furniture, 50th anniversary celebration, business after hours, Piedmont Lithium, holiday happy hour, business after hours, and then the Westgate Park reopening ceremony. We was able to be a part of that with you all as you held that. Under our community relations, provided community marketing materials such as restaurant guides, shopping guides, Cherryville branded fans, chip clips, writing pens, and the website QR codes to visitors. At Christmas time, wrote back 162 kids from Santa Claus that dropped letters into Santa's mailbox. Under our school partnerships, we took the Sanderson sisters, who are our Halloween mascots, I guess, for our Hocus Pocus parade and different things, took those ladies to the elementary school and intermediate school, helped find sponsorships for area schools for things such as athlete sponsorships to ensure each athlete had proper equipment needed, student of the month programs, and assisted with teacher Christmas gift baskets and meals. Took the Grinch and Santa Claus to the elementary school, the intermediate school, and the middle school. And then under our festivals, assisted with the planning and execution of the following events: the Cherry Blossom Festival, Independence Day celebration, the Hocus Pocus Parade, the Monsters March, Scaryville, the tree lighting, Whoville, and the Christmas Parade. Our sponsorships this year totaled in $37,950. Our volunteer hours, and we couldn't do this without volunteers. Over 590 volunteer hours, and that's 100 plus more hours than the year 2022. These hours are from prep work, execution, and cleanup for all events. Gary Dellinger's contribution for electric repair to the jubilation tree, and student hours. So there again, we couldn't do a lot of these things without the help of volunteers, and I've said this nearly every time that I have come to give this report. We appreciate the relationship we have with our mayor and city council. We've always had a very good relationship, working relationship, and it takes a team to pull all this together. Not just one person can do this or two people. takes a whole group working together to make something very successful. And we're proud that, we've been able to do some of these things. Also, if you'll note, the very last thing, we did not have to use any of the city's budgeted money for any festivals or events hosted by the Chamber of Commerce. We were able to raise enough sponsors to where these funds were not needed. So we're grateful for that as well. And I'm thankful for Mary Beth. I'm glad she's here, tonight despite, broken foot, ankle. She's had I think January was a long year for her. But, she is here with us. If you have any questions, concerning this year in review or the items that are on here, she'll be happy to, answer any questions that you have.
Okay, good job, Pete. Really.
Thank you.
Does any council member have any questions regarding the report from, Chairman Kraft?
I'll just say one thing, from some of the folks that I see across the state, and they hear about these events, I've been asking Raleigh, how do we get these events? And I told them, I said, it's the brainchild of the chamber, and Mary Beth is doing it, and she's got great volunteers that execute the plan. And without that, you couldn't do it, but they're trying. They said, well, we might need to know more about it. So Mary Beth, if you get a phone call sometimes, there might be some people asking the question. They're envious of what we have going on in our town. And so it's all due to y'all, so thank you so much.
Well, and some of these events may just be tailor-made for Cherryville, but it has been tremendous.
It has.
We have seen our tree lighting ceremony go from nearly nothing and end to it, to what turned into the Whoville Christmas, where thousands of people are there. I mean, it's unreal to see all those folks. Happy to see them there, and hope they continue coming. But we do, appreciate that, and I can't take credit for anything other than being a mouthpiece, for this chamber board and this Chamber of Commerce. There's many more volunteers that do far more than I do, and, so I can't take any credit other than being their mouthpiece.
Great job. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. We'll move on now to item 10 on our agenda, and that's consideration of a continued public hearing in reference to rezoning Terrace Estates. We have our planning and zoning director, Richard Elam, with us tonight. I would ask council now for direction to enter into public hearing at this time.
The motion will go into public hearing.
Have a motion and a second to enter into public hearing. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, and there is none. You have the floor there, Mr. Elam.
I'll pick up where we left off on January the 8th. At the regular meeting of the City Council on January the 8th, a public hearing was held to discuss the proposed rezoning and the concerns of neighbors under the citizens to be heard. Mr. Gene Dellinger, he called me today and said that he could not be here tonight, but he just wanted to reemphasize that a project is approved now or down the road that they take into consideration the water runoff, and that, some kind of berms or water retention ponds be built. And also tonight we have the builders here, Mr. Craig Upshaw and Mr. Tom Coots. So they'll probably be speaking after I get through. And then on January 30th, the city council had a meeting called the work session, and at that meeting they had questions of staff, the planning board, and the builders to get a better understanding of this project so that we could discuss it further tonight. And council also asked me at the last meeting, reference DOT, I called them. They had looked at this project earlier, and the only improvements that needed to be done in the area was that they obtain new DOT permits to connect those two sections of streets to Black Rock School Road. Other than that, no other improvements were needed. You asked about the Gaston County School Boards. They've got a new superintendent. I hope I don't slaughter his name too much, Mr. Houchard, Houchard. He's the new superintendent. I sent him an email of all projects going on in Cherryville, including this one that may develop. And he is now aware of them. He just came into office in January. So he is aware of everything that's going on in Cherryville. Let's see what else we got here. The planning board had 45 days to provide the city council with their decision, which they did. That night they had it, they gave you their decision of denial of the application and passed it on to city council. Again, this process started on October the 31st of 2023, and it's now February the 12th. And now, I'll go over to page 29 on your computer. I'll reiterate the options the city council had. Number one was granting the rezoning as requested by the applicant to a conditional zoning R9 cluster. Or two, you can grant the rezoning to a conditional zoning R12 cluster, which gives you 8,000 square foot lots. Number three, grant the rezoning to R9, rezone the property to R9, and you've got 9,000 square foot lots. Or you can up the zoning to like the houses across the street on the right on Black Rock School Road to R15, then you could grant a conditional rezoning cluster of 10,000 square foot lots. The denial of the request for the rezoning, it would just remain R12, and the property owners, they can divide the land into no less than 12,000 square foot lots, as they already have a vested right to do so. And they can go through the process of submitting a site plan, plat, and everything, and go through the process through the planning board, and then again through the city council. And last, on your page 30 and 31, if the rezoning for the current R9 cluster is approved tonight, the mayor would have to go, one, through the statement of consistency, and the council will have to vote on each one of those two things. And then last, they would have to go through the special use permit and vote on those. If a no is reached on any item, then it cannot be approved. And I'll turn it back over to the council for any questions or for these
Okay,
gentlemen.
I would suggest that, we give maybe Mr. Upshaw, if he has anything, or, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Tom Cooks. Tom Cooks.
Cooks, okay. If you have anything that you would like to add during our public hearing, okay, just come to the podium, please.
I'm Craig Upshaw with Piedmont Companies. Our company owns this land, the owner of our company does. The big discussions that we've had in the past around this, and that seem to be the biggest sticking points for everybody, is that the lots were smaller than the surrounding area, and everybody kept saying that we needed to have bigger lots. So this is a site plan that we had done before. These lots are approximately 14,000 square feet. This site plan does not do is allow for any open space. And the site plan we presented is about 35 to 40% open space. And it is all reserved tree canopy at the bottom of the property, which is we catch all of the runoff before it gets down to the tree, down through the trees, and it gets into the creek. What you can see on here, if you could look closely, is from here to the bottom of that cul-de-sac is a 40-foot drop. So there's a large drop across this property down towards the creek. And the site plan we were using before kept everything up in the top of that. And we tried to make the most use of the property by using the smaller lots. And the smaller lots could make for more affordable housing. Tom?
Any questions?
Yes, at the bottom of that thing you're holding there, that paper, is that 3 retention ponds
It is.
that you have planned?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, 3 retention ponds and 6 sewer pumps at the bottom of each cul-de-sac. The cost to, this would require 100% grading of the property, whereas this is about 60 to 65% grading. So the cost of these lots would be double. Those lots would be double what we're presenting in our request.
And how many lots would that be in?
That is
in that
70,
drawing?
that's 76, and this is 100.
I think that was the question last time, is everybody trying to picture what the 76 lots by right under the existing zoning looks like, and that's what this is right here.
So going down those cul-de-sac streets would be a very steep drop. I wouldn't let my child go on those roads on a bicycle or a skateboard or something. It would be quite a scary experience.
Okay. You have anything else? Only other question I would be prepared to ask you is, would you entertain presenting this plan to the zoning board again with that number of houses?
I'm not sure that it would have to, because it's by right existing zoning, correct, Richard?
Well, you still got to go under the subdivision.
Right.
The
Which is-
subdivision ordinance, but it doesn't come before the
Right.
council.
Okay. Okay, before I go any further, do I have any citizen that would like to speak at this time under public hearing in regards to the matter that's before us? Any citizen? All right. Come forward, state your name and address.
I'm Stephen Dalton. I live at 404 Hauser Street. I just got a quick kind of jurisdictional question. I was born and raised out on Top Dellinger Road. I was outside the city limits. So when I turned 18, I couldn't vote for y'all. You know, I'm outside. This property here is outside the city limits. So what gives y'all the right to have any say of what goes on out there? I understand the ETJ. I get it, we have ETJ.
City limits.
It is in the city limits.
So we moved the city limits out then. Okay.
Back in 92.
It came with the Delview, when we annexed Delview, that was part of the property.
Okay, so we went all the way out to Black.
So yes, it is in the city limits.
Okay, I was just curious because I know, I didn't want nobody getting regulation without representation, you know what I'm saying? Cause you
I
couldn't,
understand.
cause I know how it was when I grew up, you know, I turned 18, it's like, I still have no say here in town. You know, I'm a Cherryvillian born and raised, but I have no say in the town of Cherryville because I'm 7 houses outside the city limits.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
was just my question.
okay. Well, thank you for your comments.
Thank you,
Would you
sir.
like to be annexed into the city?
I'm in the city now.
Okay. All right, we have no citizen to be heard, okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to exit public hearing at this time. Mhm.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You made the statement a minute ago that at the end of each cul-de-sac, there were sewer ponds. You said ponds, and because I knew it's on city sewer.
Right,
Yeah, so it's not a pond, it's a pump.
it's a pump.
Gotcha.
At the end of each cul-de-sac.
Gotcha.
Is that because of the
Okay.
hill being so steep?
That's correct.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Let me say one thing, and I don't know for short, but speaking to Rachel Wright, our city engineer, he said that even if you did the 76 lots, that there would not be sewer, that would be gravity fed. So I don't know for sure that
Probably a way to engineer it,
yeah,
for sure.
he said it could be gravity fed, you wouldn't have to put those in.
The 100 lot plan is all gravity fed,
Yeah.
but it stays up at the top of the hill.
But I'm thinking, Riesel's saying that the 76 plan would be gravity fed as well. You wouldn't have to put those pumps in.
Okay, I would still entertain a motion to exit public hearing at this time, so it can be discussed by council.
So moved.
I have a motion to second to, exit public hearing at this time. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, the same. There is none. Okay, now we will have discussion by council and action if needed. It's up to the council now. If you want me to, begin, I don't have a vote in this, but, I know the benefit I was looking at, and I'm not saying I talked to planning and zoning guy, and my, choice wasn't for the small lots either. But I have a problem that the fact that we have already allowed 2 other housing developments to do the cluster building, and, it almost seems like we're discriminating against one developer that wants to do the same. The housing that I had suggested would be similar to what is out there now. The only way you can enter this property, if you'll notice, is the roads off of Black Rock School Road. What I had entertained, am I right, planning and zoning director, would be compliant with what's out there now. It'd actually be a little bit bigger than the lots that are out there now. The 8,000 square feet. Yeah. Okay, the other side of that is too, along with this development, the developer had agreed to pay for half of the water line that the city would have to put in. Now, that water line would not just be for this property, but it would also be a benefit to the Black Rock School properties, because we're having some problems there with enough water pressure. So I'm looking at it for the benefit to the city, and that's why I had made the suggestion I have. But like I said, I don't have a vote in this, but I just wanted to express why I came up with what I did. And I had asked you to mail out to each council member what I liked about it. And we're open for discussion now, so please feel free to give your views on this.
Mayor, I agree with you that if we've already approved 2, and really the cluster zoning makes more sense for this property because it is sloping, and you have the runoff problem. If we leave the canopy, that's gonna cut way down on the stormwater going into the creek. Like I said, we've already approved 2 developments like this, and this one is no further, not much further out than the Rickway Road development. This could be the 3rd and the smaller one. And, the water line, like you said, is gonna help everyone in that area, including the problem on 150 with, like, Moss's water. You'll get a new water line and better pressure. All those people out through there will because of this. That's it.
change it much to change it to 8,000, right? That's the cluster type archway.
The site plan considerably. We had looked at making something in the 12,000 square foot lots and bigger than that site plan we already had, so I thought that would show you one alternative that would work for bigger lots. But we could go with an 8,000 square foot lot model and redo the site plan.
And you don't have any idea how many houses that would incorporate? I know it would be more than 70. You're probably looking maybe close to 80, 85.
That would cause the price of the homes to go up. One thing I like about this, it's 240,000 compared to over 300,000 of these other developments. And I think that price range fits better into this neighborhood. One other thing I meant to mention when I was speaking earlier is, I think it's good to let the fair market, find its level. And if people don't want to buy these smaller lots, they won't buy them. But like I said at the last meeting, some people don't want to have a yard, a big yard to take care of anymore. They want to go to work, come home, and relax. And I think there's a market for that these days. Cherryville's growing faster than it has in the past. And if the market's there, then the houses will sell. If it's not, they won't. But I don't believe in telling a man what to do with his property unless he'll do something really detrimental to the city. We've had some problems like that before. We've taken care of it. I think that's really what the planning board is for, is to keep really detrimental things from happening. And since we've already approved 2 of these developments like this before, I don't see how we can deny this one.
Well, I guess, at the last meeting, I made my feelings well known. If I could at this time ask, Mr. Yunt or Mr. Strap, with the Planning and Zoning Board, if this new plat that we're seeing tonight, did y'all see that one? Okay.
I think that one was approved years ago, so that's already been approved.
That one was drawn up in 2020 and based on some older drawings.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, well, my feelings haven't changed. I will support the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board.
Okay. I think we've heard from everybody. And we're not required to go through the statement of consistency unless I have a motion on the floor to accept. And if I do not have a motion on the floor, unless someone wants to make that motion and get a second. Okay, and be specific on, you're making the motion for which one?
I'm making a motion based on their request for CZ/R9 cluster development, 6,000 square foot lots. We've already approved these 2 other developments.
Okay. Have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? No second? Okay, then the motion will die for lack of a second. Okay. Thank you, Richard. There'll be no action by council to approve at this time. That would be,
Make a decision.
Yeah, you have to make a motion to deny or accept.
I make a motion to deny the rezoning of Terrace Estates to R9 cluster.
second that.
I have a motion and a second to deny the request for R9 cluster at this particular plat. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. All opposed? So do we need we do not need the statement of consistency if it's a denial? Right, okay. Okay, thank you, Richard. We'll move on to item 11, which is consideration of a resolution of intent to close a street or alley. And again, we have our planning and zoning director, Richard Elam, with us, and he'll take us through that. That's pages 32 through 37 in your agenda packet. Gotta go to page 2 now.
Tim and Deborah Stone Mueller of 126 Summer Place has applied on January the 18th for street closing of an undeveloped strip of land on the south part of Vernon Street. And per North Carolina General Statute 1608299, they paid the application fee. And the property is currently identified with the Gaston County Property Identification Number 208212. The property is located adjacent to the east end of the street called Summers Place. On January the 30th, 2024, the City Council work session, the date of February the 12th, which is tonight, was requested to set a public hearing and also to adopt a resolution of intent. Per that general statute, this resolution of intent has to be published in a newspaper for 4 weeks prior to the public hearing date. So tonight I'm asking the City Council to adopt this resolution and to also set a public hearing date of March the 11th. During those times, I also have to notify all the adjacent property owners, and it has to go out by certified mail, and also have to post the property. So I'm asking for a public hearing date of March the 4th. March 11th, 2024.
That will be our next council meeting.
The regular, not the work session, but the regular.
Yeah,
correct.
the regular council meeting,
Correct.
March 11th. Okay. All right.
The one you just handed us has July date on it.
No, that's just an example of the resolution. That's not actually, we're not looking at this one.
You just need to adopt the resolution. What's the one page on your computer?
For Sweet Tree Street is the one you said.
Yeah. One on your computer. I grabbed the wrong one.
Which is actually on page 32.
Rich,
Yes, it's in your second set of,
That's right on the page.
that's correct.
Yeah, that's the correct one on page 2 of your computer.
Mhm.
The res-
Okay, well, I need direction from council right now just to adopt the resolution. And then it will follow with March 11th, 2024.
Right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution and set a public hearing date of March 11th at our next regular scheduled city council meeting.
Correct.
Okay, have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution and set it on the March 11th regular council meeting agenda for that night. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, there is none. Okay. Okay, the next item is item 12, consideration of ordinance in reference to the road closure for Cherry Blossom Festival and our Christmas parade. That's on pages 58 and 59. Okay, this is just formality, bookwork to be done by our city clerk, and that would be, which we do this every year, is to the road closure for Cherry Blossom Festival and the Christmas parade. Do I have any questions in regards to the ordinance? Okay, if not, do I have a direction from council to accept the ordinance for the road closures?
I make a motion we accept the ordinance. Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the ordinance as presented. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. There is none.
Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with these two road closures and up to the Christmas parade also, with the planning of the, July parade, when we do the state tournament, would that
Mhm.
need to be?
That would be, no, that would be a separate,
Separate one thing by itself?
be the same for the Whoville. We'll have to do a separate one for Whoville, for Independence Celebration, and for the Veterans Parade.
Did we close for Woodville?
I'm looking at it for this year.
I was gonna say, typically we haven't closed.
I think they had talked about extending it down below Home Trust Bank because of Santa Claus being there and the Grinch being all the way up at the mini park. So, but it hasn't been decided. That will still go before Chamber Board, correct?
Yes, and department heads.
Okay. Okay, so we still have time to do that. In fact, we may actually do that March, if it's their request. We'll do it then. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is consideration of chamber board member nominations, and that's on page 60 of your and they are one, Pam McGinnis for a second term of 3 years, and two, Vicky Sperling for a second term of 3 years also. That is the two nominations for Chamber Board. Do I have any discussion or any questions from any council member on the two?
I have a question. And this question pertains to all boards, not just the chamber board, but I'm talking about all boards. Do we have a policy of term limits in board?
No, all of it. Well, they are reapproved each year.
Can you sum
Yeah,
up?
we do have staggered terms. Yeah, we do have staggered terms.
You have to be
Also.
reappointed, but you can continue to serve.
So you can serve as long as you're reappointed.
If the council reappoints.
There's no term limit. Okay, that's my question.
serve for a term of years, but you're done with it.
Correct.
No, I think there is terms on some of
I
them.
don't think I don't know if you misunderstood it wrong.
I don't know of any off the top of my head that we say after a certain amount of years you can't serve. And you have to be reappointed by the council. But I don't know of any that says you have to be.
Mary Beth, do you have staggered terms on the chamber?
We do. All of ours are 3-year terms, and they must be appointed either by chamber or council. 2 nominations. In our bylaws, we say that you can run up to, I think, 3 terms back to back. And then after that, you have to at least take a year break and be reappointed.
There we go.
But
I
we do
I
have
was thinking
people
there
we
was
have
some of them
kept.
that was staggered.
Yeah, and it just depends, like Pam McGinnis, for example, she's an asset to us because she's a Main Street merchant. So say if I don't have another nomination that could be a voice for our Main Street merchants, we would probably still let her roll on with y'all's approval. It just, stuff like that in the bylaws, we have little, like, we can switch some stuff out if we want to, but that's it. It's only like to cover certain industry and certain, aspects of the community. But I don't know about other boards, just the chamber.
These
Okay.
two have agreed to serve again.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can see where term limits could be applied, because what if they didn't want to serve for another year?
Well, and you get
And
into a
they
thing where people
become
can't say
disinterested
no.
or move or
Yeah,
for various reasons doesn't want to stay on that board, then it's optional to come off. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Make a motion, we approve these 2 nominations of Pam McGinnis and Vicky Spurley to the Chamber Board.
Okay, have a motion and a second to accept the board nominations of Pam McGinnis for a second term of 3 years and Vicky Sperling for the second term of 3 years. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous, okay? We'll move on to item 14, and this is consideration of Museum Board Committee. And I would stress that this is strictly for discussion at this time. I think we're up to 15 or 16 applications. We're not gonna take any more applications as of tonight, because we have to get this board certified and down to business as soon as possible, because we're talking about transfers of money and artifacts and a lot of things with the museum that needs to be taken care of. So I stress tonight that these 4 members up here will choose 5 board members to represent the new museum board. And I know we have, is it 15 or 16?
Yes, Mayor, I sent each of you an email probably about an hour or 2 ago. So you each will have all the applications. We have 15 total applications for the museum board. So if you'll look at that email and start looking at the applications, from there you'll make a decision, the 5 that you want to put on the board.
Okay, and my suggestion was that we do this at our next work session, which is February 27th. So that gives, like I said, we got 3 or 4 that came in today. So that gives our council ample time to narrow it down to the 5 that they want. And I would urge you to give your 5 members, give a copy or email or something to our city manager by Thursday of before we meet on Tuesday, the next week on February the 27th, so that we have ample time to consider them. I know we all might not have the same members, but at least we'll know if there's a consensus of a certain number of the members. Then if everybody has the same, all of us have the same person, then we would definitely know they want to be on the board. So that was for discussion only. We'll move to item 15, which is consideration of budget amendments. And our city manager, Brian Dalton, will lead us through that, page 71 through 74 in your laptops.
Yes, Mayor, Council, if you look on page 71, that budget amendment is typically just grants. So you see, it's just revenues and expenditures that equal each other on page 71 for grants that we've received. The only one that is rather large, if you look on page 72, that is a budget amendment for the bridge that we're having to put in down at the Ballard Pump Station. And that's just to equal out, the revenues and expenditures for the bridge. As of right now, the pillars have been built and they're in place, so we're waiting on Paul Zer to get the bridge completed, and then they'll transfer that from his shop to Ballard Pump Station, and Mike Steele's gonna help him set it with his crane, and then we'll have the new bridge to get across.
That's the 290,000.
Yes, sir. Oh, we got one more, I'm sorry. And the next one is, I'm wanting to say, make sure I'm right, this is the insurance from the roof of the train depot. If you remember, we had, when the storm came through last May, we had a lot of damage to the roof at the train depot, and this was an insurance claim that we filed to get a new roof put on at the train depot.
That's 33,973.
Yes, sir.
And that's already been done.
Yes.
So
Yep, the roof is on
we're
and
good.
complete.
Okay.
And the last one is simply, some grants as well that we received. And that is, the grants from Senator Alexander that we will probably have hit our bank account probably this week or next week. And if you remember also, we're gonna manage these grants for other entities throughout town, such as Cherryville Theater, Cherryville High School, Cherryville Area Ministry, places like that. We'll manage the grants for them as well.
Okay, and that totals 140,000.
Well, that's what we're getting, the city of Cherryville. The total grant is 440,000, I believe, somewhere around there. It's like, I know the high school's getting 25,000 for
Batting
a batting
cage.
cage for the girls softball field. So we'll manage that. Cherryville Theater's getting the 100,000 that we talked about previously. Cherryville Area Ministries is getting 50,000.
Truck Museum, I
Truck
think, is getting
Museum, I think, got
5,000.
5,000, and there's an organization in Gastonia that,
Gaston, Preserve,
Gaston Preserve,
Gaston.
and they got 100 and some. I think it was about 100,000 that they got. And,
Okay.
so we'll manage those as well.
Ron, what was the, money going to the Ministerial Association, what are they gonna do with it?
I don't have the scope of work. I would have to look at that paperwork and see, but I don't know what they wrote. They had to submit paperwork to Cleveland County showing what their scope of work's gonna be. I'll have to look and see
I
exactly.
saw one I hadn't heard of, I think.
But they had 50,000 given to them by Senator Alexander from the state legislature.
So, Brian, are you saying that the entire pot of money, the 400-some thousand, is coming to the city, and then we are going to
Yeah. What happened is the money,
proceed to give it to these other entities? Okay.
that's correct. The money will come to the city of Cherryville. And then what will happen is, say the batting cage. When the high school goes to build the batting cage for the girls softball team, they'll bring the bills to us, we'll cut them the check out of their proceeds. And just manage the grant.
So is that considered restricted funds in any way? I mean, we're not gonna be able to tell CAM what they need to do with their money.
Well,
It's non-restricted.
go ahead.
Mayor, council, we will go under a interlocal government agreement with Cleveland County to just manage these grants, because they have some for Lincoln County, Gaston County, and they have asked the city of Cherryville to work with them. Basically, they approve the scope of work, and then we just work with them to get the money out to them and to make sure we get the bills in. But all the reporting goes back through Cleveland County.
So is it sort of like the water interconnect with the money that they got for the water connect at Cleveland County came to Cherryville, but we turn around and send every bit of it back to Cleveland County?
Yes, sir.
That was, what, 3 million?
Dixie, will it be the city's responsibility to see that these entities are spending the money as was approved for them,
Yes,
we will be responsible for that,
yes.
Mhm.
okay?
And that's
And
based
the
on that
reason-
scope of work that they've submitted.
Right.
Right, and the reason that I haven't budgeted the rest of the funds is because Brian and I spoke, and we're gonna wait until the interlocal government agreement comes out, because we'll let y'all read over it and give your blessing before we proceed.
The only other comment I would make is for our citizens, please, if you see Kelly Hastings or Senator Ted Alexander, do tell them thank you for this money, because it's a great help to our city. Okay, we'll move on to item 16. It's other business. Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendments as submitted.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to accept the budget amendments as presented. All in favor of this motion, please say aye. All opposed, the same. It is unanimous. And now we'll move to item 16. Do I have any other business from council to come before council tonight?
I have one.
Okay.
The splash pad, are we gonna separate that with a fence so the kids can't go from the splash pad and fall in the water and drown?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There will be a fence there with the
And
gate.
the playground area too. Playground
I thought
area's
there
got,
was, but every time I ride by that, I think about calling and asking you that, and I forget.
The biggest reason, obviously, other than safety, is there will be times probably where the splash pad will be open, because, you know, you don't have to have lifeguards, you don't have to have all that, so we're hoping to be able to have it open a lot more than the pool. So we're gonna need that fence, so we can keep people from having access to the pool.
and we have that playground area right beside it that's got sand. We don't want them bringing all that sand over to the splash pad.
So eventually, what we would like to do is, the playground doesn't get used at all, so we'd like to move the playground eventually, get it out of there, so we don't have the sand being trapped to the pool or the splash pad.
And we were fortunate enough to meet with Mr. Holler last week. And if you want to tell them some of the enhancements that he talked about, other than what he had presented to us, he's thought of some other ideas to add to it. And do you want to go into detail?
Well, I mean, basically, you know, you've all seen the drawings, it's gonna be a baseball themed, splash pad, but one of the additions that we are going to receive is, he's got paint available where he's gonna paint an infield on the splash pad, so you're gonna feel like you're on the infield of a baseball field
You're going to have home plate, you're going to have the baselines,
and all that.
and you're going to have two bats
Yeah.
on each side of the home plate. So,
And the cost is still the same, so cost didn't go up. He said that's something he's throwing in because he's a member of the community and wants us to have the nicest splash pad around.
okay, anything else from council? Any other business to bring before us? Staff, anything from staff?
Nothing I can think of.
Wow, okay.
Thanks, Public Works, for patching a few more holes.
Hey.
Patching for good.
We actually, well, I will say this, we actually met with, Chris and I met with Chad again today to look at, the sidewalk right there in front of Vicky's Grill. And getting that apron completely replaced, that sidewalk, and over, on the side of City Hall. So he's running us some numbers now to look at that.
Feel in the cradle.
It's pretty bad, it's pretty bad.
Very good.
Okay, anything else? If not, I have a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion second for adjournment, all in favor